And they were all 2 to 3 person teams. So what grew out of that space was Flickster, Eventbrite, obviously. Zynga was there, Trulia, TripIt, so like a number of sort of now established internet companies. We were all together in this one space. And what was great about that was that we could collaborate. We could collaborate on ideas. Like Joe and Saran sat in a room for 6 months and put Post-its up on the wall. Literally, I thought they were going to kill each other. I could not believe that they were in such, it was like a phone booth that they were in. And they were going to do a coupon business. And they were going to do something that's actually really similar to Groupon now. But they ended up going with Flickster. And it was so incredible to watch their sort of arc of brainstorming over the 6 months and then how they actually came to fruition on deciding what they would do and then how they would execute it. So collaboration is key, and that brings me back to the village, which is that you always want to be sharing ideas and giving ideas and pulling ideas, and it's really this like two-way street. And what we do is we really, really do. These people aren't up here because they've done impressive things or they have, money. They are up here because we call them on like a pretty regular basis and ask for help. Whether that's we want to know more about our local strategy, so we pair up Jeremy with our head of marketing, or we want to, obviously talk about the complex systems behind ticketing and scalability in our site ops. We talked to Sean, who did that at Ticketmaster. It's just extremely important, and I think you don't have to know the people. You don't have to have done something for them. You have to be tenacious, and I'd say that and persistent, and I'd say that's sort of that puppy dog act that I was talking about. Kevin goes out and finds these people and really kind of doesn't let up until they're like, okay, I'll help you, okay. And then they have fun in the meantime, I think. And then the second balancing act is really sort of what we talk about, or what we don't talk about a lot, which is how do you then have this startup, which is inevitably your first baby, your life, you live, eat, and breathe it, and then manage to have a family or any semblance of a life. And it's different for everybody, so this is by no means, what I think is true, but, well, no, I do think it's true, but I don't think you have to do it. It takes a village, and so really you have to find your village again. So it takes asking for help and looking for guidance and understanding like what kind of life you want to have. I am very, very, very lucky to have my village is my family, and the cornerstone of that village is my mother, who's right there, and she's gonna cry now. And so we're really lucky, but it doesn't mean that you have to be with your family. Not everybody lives in the same town as their family, or even has family that would help out. But you can find people like that in your life who you can really rely on, and that's the way in which you can sort of extend yourself beyond the startup life. You have to prioritize and compartmentalize. So for me, I had to decide, what's my game plan for when we had our baby in 2008. And then let me tell you, being pregnant in a room full of 9 startups with no air conditioning was awesome. But basically, when it came out the other end and I had, our baby, I had to think about, so what are my priorities? And how do I compartmentalize all the things in my life now? And I'm so lucky to be able to do everything that I do, but I really truly on a daily and weekly basis have to compartmentalize it. So I work Monday through Thursday, heads down, and the only reason I'm able to do that is because of my mother and a few other members of our village. And then on Fridays, I take time with Emma, and so Kevin and I don't want to be, absent parents, and so I do the mommy thing on Fridays. Well, that doesn't always work out because inevitably something gets scheduled on a Friday, and so I have to really try to compartmentalize and understand where my priorities are to make everything work and to get everything done. And then it's just always work in progress. I could tell you that in juggling everything, in sort of the startup life, you never feel like you're doing enough, and you always feel like you could be doing more. And so I feel that probably once a week. So it's just always a work in progress, and you kind of have to find out what works for you. And that's all I got. So I put my email address up there, and we're always hiring, we're always looking for talent. And then I put my mom's email address up there in case you need some sound advice. She's always good for that, so sorry, Mom. So I guess, I don't know if we're running out of time, but
No, we're good.
it was really daunting to know that I was up here for an hour, but happy to take questions maybe, or... just open up a can of worms and I'm going to get in trouble. You set me up. No, that's a great question. Thank you. So we started out as a predominantly male team. We were hiring engineers, and oftentimes they're males. We were probably, I'd say, 2 to like 12 as far as women to men at Eventbrite in 2008 when we started to grow the team. And let's see, it was really important to me to get a more balanced environment. And I'm looking at your links and don't know if you know the numbers, but I'd say we're about 1/3 to 2/3 at this point, maybe. And there's a real shift in dynamic there. And actually, more importantly, we have women in leadership roles. So our head of product and our head of marketing are both women. And I've actually had a couple interviews with candidates who have said, you know, I was really impressed with your team because you have women in leadership roles. I'd say that my experience in Hollywood was probably a better sort of dynamic to discuss. Was that, you know, the relationship between men and women in a business environment, it is sort of what you make it, right? So it's like everybody has different ways of doing things, but I think it's always important to have the balance of perspectives. And it's like, it's not because I think that men are extremely different than women or vice versa, or somebody is better at somebody else at doing things, but it's because you always want to have that balance of perspective, and it doesn't have to just be gender, right? So I feel really proud of the fact that we have enough women in our company that in each meeting, you know, we have this kind of nice balance of ideas. I'm totally sidestepping your question because I would say that, you know, for us, it wasn't something that became a problem. It was something that we were always looking to maintain, so that balance, because I do think that there's sort of this yin and this yang, and you need both, right? Really, you need all perspectives. So, sorry. There are different styles, but I think everybody has their different style, and I guess that with Kevin and I, there's this nice case study of, you know, of two partners, two founders, and we do things differently. And I would be totally lying if I told you that we get through every week without having a moment of like, okay, you know, you think of it differently than I think of it. But I think that we're able to build a great company because we are looking at things from different perspectives. Right. So we actually do offer the donation open field as a ticket type, and that we kind of built that into the product in the beginning as we started to see the types of users that were using Eventbrite. So when we started to see fundraising events use Eventbrite, we thought, well, this is great because, you know, a lot of times when you are selling tickets, you also want to create any opportunity for people to give you money, right, as a nonprofit. So if they couldn't go to your event, you wanted them to be able to send money in their place, or you know,